Hi, everyone. This video will go over your syllabus for life science this year. I am Mrs. Fagundis, and I'm looking forward to working with you. So your syllabus here will be due next Monday on the 25th of July. And so here, again, I'm Mrs. Fagundis. Here's my contact information, my email and phone number. And it says, hello, Weaver families. I'm excited about our year together in 7th grade life science. This syllabus contains important information about this school year. Please read it and keep it as reference. As far as the class description, it says, welcome students. This class will cover the basics of life as we currently understand it in the scientific community. The topics we cover will range from the inner workings of cells within us to the complex interactions of ecosystems and how they evolve over time. This class will be both interesting and challenging. Life science is designed to be active, and so your presence and participation are key. A few of my core beliefs are the following. I believe that every student is an amazing individual with a unique perspective and voice to contribute to the class. Every student has the right to be respected. Every student has the right to learn in a safe and caring environment. And that the learning environment should be filled with a community of learners who support one another and collaborate toward success. Student expectations are the following. Students are expected to come to class on time each day, prepared with their science notebook, science folder, and a pen or pencil. So these materials here will be provided for you. Your science folder and notebook, just remember to bring them to class each day. You're encouraged to bring colored pencils, highlighters, and markers. Again, we have these materials in class too, but if you have your own and you want to use them, you're welcome to do so. Students are expected to complete classwork assignments on time, and any unfinished classwork will be considered homework due at the start of the period the following day. And so grading, this should look pretty familiar. In order to get an A, you'll need a 90 to 100%, a B, 80 to 89%, a C, 70 to 79%, and a D, 60 to 69%. Anything below a 60% is an F. As far as course grade weights, so we are going to be doing a lot of different things in class. And so when we have tests or projects, it will be worth 40% of your grade. Quizzes will be worth 10%. Assignments, 30%, and your science notebook, 20%. You will receive your trimester grades 3 times during the year. Each student is responsible for checking in on their grade weekly on Aries. I typically update grades at the end of the week, and late work will be graded after I grade work that's been submitted on time. I think it's just fair. One thing I want to note here is that if you're turning in late work at the end of a trimester, I can't promise you that I can grade all of the late work just because at that point I'm running out of time to literally grade everything. So assignments and homework, you'll be assigned classwork assignments regularly. Anything you don't finish in class, again, will be your homework due at the beginning of the next class period unless I state otherwise. Remember that quality counts. Do your assignments well with thought and energy. If you're confused about how to start or do an assignment, I'm more than happy to help. Just ask as soon as you can. Don't wait right before it's due or after it's due. Late work. Any work turned in after the due date is considered late, and you'll receive partial credit if it's turned in within 1 week. If you turn it in after 1 week, late work will be at least 25% off. So for example, say you have a 100-point project due and the project you turn in is a week late. And this would mean that the most amount of points you can receive is 75 out of 100 points, or a C, which is 75% of what the assignment is worth. Anything less than a 60% is an F. The reason for this is because I want you to learn how to manage your time, and I want you to get used to turning things in and managing all of your assignments between all of your other classes. Once we've completed a unit, late work will no longer be accepted. Do your best to complete your assignments in class and on time. As far as projects, tests, and quizzes, we will have a project or a test after each unit. Projects and tests will be announced well in advance, and you can expect quizzes regularly. Some of these quizzes will be announced, some of them will be pop quizzes. Typically, they're pretty low stakes. They're just a way for you to evaluate how well you're learning the course content at the moment. So it's a good way to kind of, get a little checkup in terms of how you're understanding the material. And if you're not understanding it, make sure you check in with me. If you know that you're going to be absent on the day of a test, let me know in advance so that we can set up an alternative date. Tests and projects will cover material covered in your textbooks, class, and labs. Students will always have the opportunity to correct failing tests or quiz scores to a passing grade. Absences. When you're absent, Google Classroom is the first place you should go if you miss a day. If students have excused absences, such as, say, for example, you're sick or there's a family emergency, life happens, you can turn in any missed work within the same amount of days absent after returning to class. I want you to note that some excused absences will be determined on a personal basis by me. For example, right, if students are absent for 2 days, you'll have 2 days to make up the work after you come back to class. It's your responsibility to find out what work needs to be made up. Seats and labs. Your seats will be assigned to you and will change periodically. I think it's important that you get to know different characters and different personalities in the classroom. Safety equipment must be worn and equipment left clean for the next class. When we perform lab assignments, you must follow the lab safety guidelines, which we'll go over. As far as the honesty policy, cheating will not be tolerated and will result in a 0 on any test, quiz, lab, or homework assignment. This includes copying someone else's work and calling it your own. This is also known as plagiarism. All students involved will be held responsible and referred to the administration for disciplinary action. So how do you succeed? Here are my tips for success. Come to class with your assignments completed. Revisit your classwork and homework notes in preparation for any quizzes. Check Aries every week to keep track of your current grade in the class. And ask questions all of the time. I'm happy to help, but I don't want you to wait until right before a test or a project is due and say, I am so lost, I don't get it. By that point, it's too late. You need to be proactive in your education. Talk about science with people around you, right? Notice the role that science plays in our world, and the more you are immersing yourself in the content, the more it's going to stick and make sense to you. If you need extra help, just ask. You can schedule an appointment in person or through email. Last page of the syllabus. This is the page that you are going to turn in signed. And it says, I have read and understood Mrs. Fagundes' policies and expectations with this class. You'll print your name, sign it, and date it here. And have a parent or guardian print their name, sign, and date here. Contact information, email, and anything else they would like for me to know about your Wildcat family. So hopefully that was helpful. We'll go over this together, but in case you're not there whenever I go over this, I want this video available to you, or if you want to hear me review it with you, that's what this video is for. But I look forward to a wonderful year, and I will see you soon.